Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we talk about something a little different. This topic doesn't fit in with one specific race. It actually touches almost every single race in the Warhammer 40K universe. We're going to be talking about the Blackstone fortresses. Massive weapons of just sheer power that were utilized during the Black Crusade, but their history extends farther than that. Now remember, if you guys have any other suggestions for topic ideas, comment down below, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe, because we post Warhammer 40K content every single day. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts about the Blackstone fortresses. A Blackstone fortress was a massive, alien-constructed star fort and warp-based strategic weapon employed by both the Imperium of Man and the Forces of Chaos during the 12th and 13th Black Crusade. The Blackstone fortresses were a collection of 6 massive and mysterious artifacts of pre-imperial culture that were scattered across the Gothic sector in the Segmentum Obscurus. Each was a vast installation whose mass was larger than even the mightiest imperial star forts and Segmentum fortresses. Viewed from the top, the shape of an activated Blackstone fortress was warped to resemble the 8-pointed star of Chaos Undivided. Imperial archaeohistorians place the construction of these ancient artifacts anywhere between 17,000 and 300,000 standard years before their discovery in the 33rd millennium. Other Imperial scholars disagree, estimating them to be far older, dating back to the early years of sentient life in the galaxy, many millions of Terran years ago. First used during the war between the Old Ones and the Necrons, remembered in Eldar legend as the War in Heaven. For as long as the Imperium has been aware of their existence, the Blackstone fortresses lay in a dormant state, with all but passive power systems shut down despite their best efforts to revive them. Although inactive, there was enough residual power in the fortress's power grid to allow humans to live in them and turn them into powerful space bases, fortified hardpoints that were central to the stellar fortification in the star system they occupied. The Blackstone fortresses became the foundation of the Imperial Navy's strategy and presence in the Gothic sector. With the exception of Port Maul, each subsector was based upon the location of a Blackstone fortress, which functioned as a primary naval base for the subsector. Although almost entirely dormant, a Blackstone fortress was still open to exploitation by Imperial forces. The Adeptus Mechanicus linked numerous weapon systems to its alien and near incomprehensible energy grid, opened up vast chambers to be used as attack craft launch bays, and installed defense turrets over its surface. In terms of capabilities and technology, the Blackstone fortresses defied belief. Able to glide silently through the void with no obvious means of Newtonian propulsion, and seemingly able to ignore the laws of inertia. Their shielding and armor several times more potent than that of the greatest battleship, while their weaponry harnessed warp technology to unleash a beam of purest immaterium, with the power to obliterate any capital ship at extreme range in a single volley. Even more terrible, the capabilities of the Blackstone fortresses could be combined with one another to produce more potent warp-based effects. 2 Blackstone fortresses could strip a world of its biosphere in the blink of an eye, and 3 could destabilize a star. At the heart of every Blackstone fortress, as was discovered by the Primarch Guilliman during his capture and imprisonment aboard a fortress controlled by the Red Corsairs, in the center, there was an ancient and massive portal to the webway. The pathways it led into were huge arterial routes that even starships could navigate. They could accommodate the Imperial war machines of the Terran Crusade with ease. The innermost chamber of the Blackstone fortress was vast, easily 100 Terran miles across. Both its ceiling and its floors were lost in a shadow. A titanic black column rose at the chamber's center. Out from the column, like the distorted branches of some dark, abhorrent deity, radiated hundreds of bridges, stairways, platforms, and gantries. Countless dark doorways opened onto the Blackstone fortress's heart, huge portals that seemed created for giants, while the soaring bridges connecting the central column to the rest of the fortress were wide enough for Imperial Titans to cross. The Blackstone fortresses possess some form of innate artificial intelligence and an arcane sensor system. For instance, when danger threatened in the vicinity of a Blackstone fortress, flashes of pale green luminescent danced along its darker corridors, the ancient structure using this display of light to warn its denizens of the approaching danger. Though the identity of the builders of these technical marvels remained a mystery, these constructs are mentioned in the Eldar mythology as the talismans of Vol, objects of great fear and revulsion. Yet the Blackstone fortresses also exhibited advanced technology, such as void shielding and apparently inertia-less propulsion, that was very different than that used by the present-day Eldar. The power of the Blackstone fortresses' warp cannons far surpassed even that of the Eldar, the acknowledged masters of warp-based technology in the galaxy. Similarly, while the Blackstone fortresses exhibited some aspects eerily similar to Necron technology, in both function and appearance, they were also different in their use of potent void shields and their direct manipulation and utilization of warp energy. This was something that the Necrons, once Catan masters, regarded as evil. Further detraction from the theory is the fact that there is some evidence that the manipulation of the enigmatic Catan, known as the Deceiver, set the Gothic War in motion to ensure the scattering and destruction of these artifacts. It is also worth noting that whatever or whoever caused the destruction of the 4 Blackstone fortresses at the closing of the Gothic War must have done so consciously, and it was Inquisitor Lord Horst's belief that someone or something had deemed them too great a threat to continue to exist. Finally, it is worth noting that the Blackstone fortresses seem in most respects similar to the unspeakably ancient and mysterious fortress worlds of the Sabbat world sector, which are known to have been used by the successive intelligent species as a strategic military base for 8 million standard years, in much the same way that the Blackstone fortresses were used by the Imperium. As the capabilities of the fortresses make them ideally suited to do battle with the Necrons, it is reasonable to suspect that they are yet another leftover from the primordial conflict between the Old Ones and the Catan. If Imperial estimates are incorrect, and the Blackstone fortresses are in fact relics of a bygone age of conflict at the dawn of the galactic history, then their most likely architects may be the Old Ones themselves, who were said to command the warp in ways that their successors could only dream of. They may be the remnants of that species' defense against the original Necron advance during the War in Heaven. If the Eldar myth history of their gods is in fact a distortion of their race's memories of the Old Ones and the actions of the psychic beings which came into being through Eldar faith, perhaps the Blackstone fortresses are equated with the story of the 100 Swords of Vol, the Eldar smith god. This Eldar god forged these swords for the bloody-handed war god, Cain. This would mean that the actual weapons forged in ancient times by the Old Ones informed the subsequent myths of the Eldar War in Heaven. And those were 40 facts about the Blackstone fortresses. If you guys enjoyed this topic, please jump on over to the wiki page and read up on this lore. If you want to watch videos, I would recommend check out the 40 facts on the Old Ones and 40 facts on Necrons part 1 and 2, because we go over the War in Heaven in those 3 videos. These videos are going to give you a good glimpse as to the advanced technology and just the sheer power of both the Old Ones and the Necrons, because you have to remember that back during the War in Heaven, times were different, the galaxy was different, the warp was more stable, and you had the Necrons, which were an extremely technologically advanced society, but you also had the Old Ones, who were a strongly psychically powerful society. And these fortresses were tools that combined both the psychic power of the Old Ones and the technological advancements of that time. and they built these massive tools or these massive weapons to fight off the Necrons. So you got to watch those videos to understand like the whole galaxy itself back then. But it's a really good illustration on how these weapons, these tools, were for good. They were in the defense of the old ones who were simply just trying to live while the Necrons were trying to destroy. Jump to the 41st millennium, where these tools are still around, and these tools are no longer tools of peace and defense because of the change within the galaxy and the change within the warp. The warp became turbulent. More sentient beings meant more chaos, more negative energies within the warp, and that caused these tools, these psychically powerful tools, to also be corrupted. That's why if you check out our 40 facts on the Black Crusade, you can pick up from the 12th Black Crusade, which would be the Gothic Crusade, but basically these fortresses turn against the Imperium, and they're empowered, or they're turned on again by psychic powers, and the strongest psychic power is, of course, demons and chaos. And chaos takes control of these fortresses, which leads me to believe that if we were to find, or if the Imperium were to find any type of technology created by the old ones, that technology would be extremely susceptible to corruption by chaos, because of the fact that when that tool was created, there was no concept of demons in the warp. They didn't have to worry about demons possessing a certain sword or a certain teleportation device or anything, technologically connected to psychic abilities. So any type of artifact should be seen by the Imperium as dangerous. So I guess that gives a little credence to the Adeptus Mechanicus as far as them being very wary of new technology and always wanting to take control of this new technology, because in fact it is dangerous. Technologies found from the War in Heaven could have detrimental results if it gets reactivated, because of the corruption that's going on within the warp and the possibility of that chaos corrupting whatever artifact or whatever ancient technology gets discovered. So it's very interesting to see this, and of course, if you guys know of any awesome artifact that you know came from the old ones or came from the War in Heaven, comment down below. We'll try to create a video for you guys. And if you have any other suggestions for topic ideas of Warhammer 40K, comment down below. We base our videos off of your requests, so be sure to comment down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. By you guys sharing with your friends, by you guys watching all the way through to the very end of the video, it really helps out the channel. And I want to say seriously thank you for tuning in to the very end of the video and letting me coming in here and listening to me talk every single day. We can continue doing that as long as you continue watching. So thanks for everything, and I'll see you tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.